And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another movie review. Today, I am reviewing Home Alone: The Holiday Heist, released in 2012. This is Home Alone number 5, and yes, folks, I too am very surprised and a little disappointed that they decided to make a fifth Home Alone movie after how badly the fourth one was. But they did it. Yeah, we did a Home Alone marathon. I reviewed the first 4 Home Alone movies quite a while ago at this point, so you're just going to be getting a couple of reviews from this marathon. Yes, there was another one after this one, too. Yay! But how did Home Alone 5 stack up in 2012? Well, got a lot of thoughts. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? I first want to say that there is a lot of green screen in this movie. A lot of green screen. They did a lot of cheap. They did a lot of things cheap in this movie, which you have to expect because this, I don't believe, at least got a theater release. If it did, it probably wasn't for that long. I mean, the fourth one was straight to DVD, and this one, I think, was only ever aired on TV, and then now on Disney Plus, which is how I watched it. So you have to think that they're not really putting a whole lot of a budget into it. And how do you know? How do I know that it was it was made to air on TV? Because there are breaks in the movie where it's just a cut to black for a couple of seconds, where a commercial break would go. But we're on streaming, so we avoid that. Thank God. Yeah, really? Really? How do you make it more obvious that this was made to be on TV so that they segmented it to fit in commercial breaks? I mean, that is just bogus. That is just absolutely absurd. I legit, not many things baffle me as much as that does. I really shouldn't be surprised, but I am. I just am. Like movies are aired on TV all the time. Movies that definitely don't have commercial breaks worked into them. So why is this any different? This is also just such an anti-tech movie. It's pretty obvious from the get-go. I mean, it's 2012, so cell phones were becoming a big thing, and video games. And so the parents are like big anti-tech, and the kids, they come around and realize that being in the outdoors and socializing is such a great idea until they get shot. But then so that's, it's very cliche. It was done all the time, especially for kids. It was meant to influence kids to not be on their fucking phones. How'd that work out, TikTok people? Huh? How'd that work out? Granted, that's probably more because nobody watched this movie than people watched it and ignored it. Because I don't think many people watched this movie. They also, I will say, in many ways, I think that this movie is just as bad as the fourth one. But where I will give this movie the leg up versus the fourth one is that they at least change the characters. They change the setting, even. This is the only Home Alone movie in the entire 6-movie franchise that is not in Chicago. It takes place in Maine, and the family is from California. They have no ties to Chicago at all. By the way, really, was that intentional to have the family move from California to Maine? Literally the farthest that you can move in the continental United States? Really? I think that was intentional. But so I will give them credit there. Like, there's no Kevin. The main character's name is like, I don't even fucking remember what his name is. But then there's like a girl, and her name is different. The parents are different. The neighbors are different. Everybody's different. The home is different. At least they did that. At least they didn't try to rehash old characters, old things, whatever, right? I will give them the credit there. And that alone is the only reason why this movie does not crack my top 10 worst movies list. And Home Alone 4 does. because at least they tried to have some originality. They tried to make things different. It didn't work, but they tried, and I have to give effort for trying. Because man, it really did not work at all. The new family members are god awful. The exception of like maybe the girl, except maybe the sister. Even the main character sucks. They try to portray him as a tiny little 4-year-old toddler when he's really like 11 or 12, and it just doesn't fucking work. It really just does give off Diary of a Wimpy Kid the long haul vibes. It really does. It is just so cringe. It is just does not work at all. It is terrible. Now that's not to say that there wasn't some good elements to this movie. I really did like the California jokes. It's like, smell that? That's air. You don't find that in California. Like, that was really funny. Or, we're manians. That was another really, really funny quote. So there were a few, funny moments here and there. And I did like as well that, like, people do kind of actually believe our main character. Like, when the main character realizes that there's like something going on and he goes to tell his family, at least at that point, like, the girl kind of and the dad like kind of actually believe him for once, instead of everybody just immediately dismissing what's going on and like straight up just like mentally torturing and abusing this child, until eventually, when it comes to a near death point, that they finally come around and realize that he was correct. So I do give them some level of appreciation there as well, which I do like. It's not really that thought upon. I mean, the parents get separated from the children, and then the girl gets trapped, so like they don't really do anything with it, but at least they tried. And then they have the online gamer friend as well. I think he's one of the better parts of the movie. Because they really do take his stuff and just like turn it up to a 20. Like, getting swatted is absolutely insane. I cannot believe that they did that, and they had him be like this hacker dude. It was quite insane. I kind of liked it. It was like comic relief, but also just like an extra level of intensity onto the movie, and I really, really, really like that. But probably, well, actually, before we get to probably what I think the worst part of this movie is, what about, like, I just want to point out the fact that one of the nights the kid is wearing Detroit Tigers gear, when the family is from California, is now in Maine, has no ties to Detroit at all, and it is clearly a Detroit Tigers shirt. Okay? Cool. I just want to point that out. But what probably the worst part of this movie was the villains. The villains are just kind of there. They don't really do anything in this movie. They are so forgettable. They're not like super goofy, but they're not like super serious either. Like, they're a mix of Marion Harv, Marv and Harry. There we go. I was having a fucking stroke. Marv and Harry. They're a mix of them and then the spies from Home Alone 3. They're kind of a mix of those two. Really, they're more on par, more so they're kind of just like attempting to be a more serious version of the goofy Harry, or not Marv, or the goofy Marv and the girl from Home Alone 4 is more kind of, I guess, more if you want to think about it that way. But it's just weird. Like, they just don't do anything. And it's like, you got this old guy who's like supposed to be this big ringleader, and he just doesn't do shit in the whole movie. Like, he's not intimidating at all. And having the villains be so forgettable and so just there makes what is supposed to be the best part of the movie really also not great. And that's when they start getting their ass beat and the traps are all set up. I don't think the traps are that great. They're not nearly as elaborate. They're just kind of thrown together. Now, there are a couple that I really liked. The one with the lady getting stuck in the window and the kid's like shooting her butt with an egg and then she kicks the other two. That was a really funny trap. And then the glue one, too. The glue one was fucked up. Like, making him drink glue, that could have killed him. That is fucking insane that they did that. But we never really see more of that. I wanted to see more of the glue trap because that was actually a cool one, albeit a little disgusting and a little scary, honestly. But it's what we expect from a Home Alone movie, and they just didn't do anything with that. It was very, very underwhelming. So yeah, it's not great. This is not a great movie. It's not on my worst movies list, but it will be a mention whenever I do that list. So just be prepared for that. For my final score for this movie, Home Alone: The Holiday Heist. They don't even call it Home Alone 5. They call it Home Alone: The Holiday Heist because they're trying to steal a painting. By the way, the family stops these guys from robbing an $85 million painting. And what do they get? Free museum membership. And $30,000 because they were wanted. I would have asked for 15% or more on my car insurance. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. My final score for this movie, probably a 3 out of 10. 4. No, 3.5. 3.5. I cannot give this movie a 4. This was just bad. Bad. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Stay tuned for other much more amazing content, including more movie reviews and other awesome stuff. And until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.